Hey guys, what's up? It's RVLP for you, and today I'm doing another Photoshop tutorial. This one is going to be a shorter one, but this is a subject that I did want to cover, and that is shadows. So shadows can be used in a lot of different ways. You can use them with text, or you can use them to create depth and realism. So if I turn on the shadows layer right here, you can see that there's now a shadow that goes behind this Minecraft character, which is me. And then a creeper, you can see that there's a nice shadow there, and then under his feet, and then this nice diamond block, there's a little bit of a shadow there, and then where it is. Because basically where I put the light was, I put the light right about here for these two, so that there would be a hot spot right there, so it's nice and bright, and then the shadow would come down. Now this is good because, especially with this little brush stroke right there, the big old white spot in the middle, that gives it more realism. I mean, because then it doesn't look that realistic, because it doesn't look like this Minecraft character is actually standing on the floor, but now it does because he's casting a shadow. And then you can see the light's casting away from him, and he's looking up at us. So this is pretty simple to do. So if I just turn off the shadows layer, and we'll just make a layer above that, and grab a brush, and you want it in black because you can always turn down the opacity later. So for the feet, I usually just I just paint a little bit around it, and this depends on where the light's gonna be, where you want to decide the light's gonna be. So I just put a little bit right there, and then we'll go ahead and put some right here for his feet, and then for the diamond block, kind of just paint right about there. So it gives a little bit of a depth, and then give a really small shadow right here, just a slight shadow right there, and then we'll just blend that a little bit nicer. There we go. So now that we have this, you can go to soft light, which is what I use, and then we can turn it down a little bit to give it a little bit more realism. And I actually think this, there it goes. Okay, so I actually think this one needs to be moved a little bit back. So what we can do is we can add a layer mask onto the shadows layer, which is layer 6 right there, and then we'll just paint in a little bit to get rid of some of that shadow, because it's a little bit far out for me. And then we'll just click on the thumbnail again, and then size it down, and then put a little bit of shadow right there. So there, now it looks like he's standing there better. Get rid of that more. There we go. So that looks pretty good to me. Kind of just get rid of that, and then you typically want to kind of get rid of the shadows closer up, like on the thing, because like if we go back, you can see that it's kind of unrealistic looking. So you want to just kind of get rid of those shadows, and they can start back here, because if the light's going to be coming from here, there's going to be a little bit of shadow on this end. Okay, so that looks good to me. And then for the creeper, that looks a little too bright for me, so I'm gonna put the gray right about there. No, that's a little bit too much. I'm just working with the mouse right now, so I'll just turn it up a little bit just to dim it a little bit. There we go. That looks better. Okay, so this needs some shadow right here. And then for the Steve character, this is a little bit of a harder step, but you can see this is the shadow right here for him. So we want to duplicate his layer, so Control J, and then now we have this guy right here that I masked out of a picture I took, or a screenshot I took of myself playing Minecraft. So now we can go to effects, then color overlay, and then you want to go with black because you can always turn down the shadow later. Okay, so there you go. And now holding shift, just slide them over, and then this is the harder part. You want to go up to edit, transform, and then you want to go with perspective, and then kind of really you have to just mess with it until it looks right. And this doesn't have to look completely perfect because it's just a shadow. So I'll just hit Control T, and that little black bar is fine because we can get rid of that. So that is about right. So just tilt it a little bit more so that I'll actually just match it up like that. Okay. Okay, so that looks good to me. Just move it a little bit because I want it to be about the same. Okay, so there we go. So now we'll put it onto overlay, or excuse me, soft light, and then turn the opacity down quite a bit. Okay, and now we'll put a blur on it, so we'll just go blur, Gaussian blur, and then now as you can see it kind of blurs it out a little bit. So that looks pretty good to me. So now that we have the blur on it, we'll just use the mask that was already on there, and then we can just mask out the stuff we don't want. So we don't want this stuff. We don't want any overlay on his face because we already have shadows there, and this will be where the light would be hitting. So we'll just do this and get rid of that. Okay, so looks pretty good to me. You can tinker with the opacity. So turn it down a little bit more, and then that just gives it a little bit of a shadow. And then we need to get rid of this too, so go back to the blur mask and then just paint over that. Okay, so that's good for that. Okay, so now that we have the Steve character shadow done, we can work on the block because the creeper is just pretty much the same as the Steve character. So we'll just make a new layer and then make a square. So that's pretty good, and then we'll just hit Alt backspace to fill black, and that's when the first color is black. So Alt backspace, or it'll be Command backspace on a Mac, I believe. Then we'll just hit Control D to deselect that, and then just size it down until it looks about right, then twist it, and then there we go. So we'll just do that, then put it a soft light and just turn it down a little bit, and then we can still mess with the way it looks. So that looks pretty good. Now we'll just hit select on this, then Control F. So yeah, that's not too hard to do, so just adds a nice shadow to it, and we can turn the opacity down a little bit. Okay, so not as good as my first edition, but I was actually taking my time on the first edition. Okay guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to give this video a like. I did not go over the text, like the drop shadows and the inner shadows and all that stuff, but if you guys would like me to do that, I would be happy to do so. Just I didn't think it really pertained because it wasn't really part of what I was going for, like demonstration wise. So yep, thanks for watching. This is our review album for you. Peace.